Hey everyone, Michelle Alexandria. I don't know what to say. This is me being calm, cool, collected, not a hyperactive bunny or frog or whatever. How do you guys like my new spectacles? It's annoying because I had LASIK surgery 10 years ago and I find myself all of a sudden back to needing spectacles. So that kind of annoys me. But I do feel intelligent. Even if I'm not intelligent, I feel intelligent when I wear my spectacles. So anyway, I'm in a weird mood because yesterday was CES day and I am not thrilled with what I saw yesterday. This is going to be a really quick video because I have very little to say about yesterday. Other than I was right about everything except one thing. And I'm going to start with the one thing I was wrong about, and that is TCL. I told you I did not care about TCL anymore because all their TVs aren't even going to come out until October, and they won't even be available anyway. They'll be sold out or some other nonsense. So I don't really care about TCL anymore. But TCL did something very interesting yesterday, and they had a major announcement. And it's not the major announcement that we all think it was. The major announcement was their 6 series TVs are getting a software upgrade later this year that's actually going to enable HDMI 2.1 via software patch. So I think that's pretty amazing. It's going to enable 120 hertz. It's going to take their panel from 60 hertz to 120 hertz. I'm not even sure how that magic works. I'm assuming that's going to be some kind of fakery there. There's going to be some kind of fakery there, but it's going to actually, and it's also going to add auto ALLM, and it's going to add FreeSync to some of their select 6 series TVs. But come on, they only have one brand of 6 series TV. They had the 625. They're not going to put it on their 615 TV from 2 years ago. So I don't know why they use that weird language that is coming to select 6 series TVs. And ooh, what is that going to be? What is that going to be? Which TV that's going to be? It's like they have a lot of TV models out there. So we all know it's going to be the R625. But I applaud TCL for doing this. Even if it's going to be fake HDMI 2.1, I still applaud them for doing this because I never thought you can add HDMI 2.1 plus eARC plus FreeSync via software updates. So it's going to add all the HDMI 2.1 features to the R625 series. So that's going to make that TV an amazing buy, assuming one of these updates can actually fit some of their as far as I know, the R625, people don't really complain about dimming zones and all that kind of stuff. So if they do that, if they can do that and fix the motion issues with the 120 hertz update, yeah, that may actually make that TV the TV to get in a few months. That may actually be my next TV, but I would love it. I want it in a 75-inch version because once you go 75-inch, it's hard going back to this 55-inch OLED. I'm not gonna lie to you people. I have the 55-inch OLED back up on my wall, and it looks so tiny compared to that. So that's really weird, especially when it looks so huge in my bedroom. So anyway, I'm in a weird mood. I told you. So TCL, I'm really excited about what TCL is doing with their backwards compatibility, and they finally released their iPic calibration mode for their iPhones. I really wish someone can actually play, who has the TV, could play with it with that feature and let me know if it actually works, because that would be a game changer if it actually does work. So the more I'm thinking about it, the more I really want to try that R625. I'm really thinking about it. But I want a 75-inch version. I didn't actually watch the TCL press conference, so I don't know if they actually ended up releasing a 75-inch version of this TV. But they better damn well do it sometime in a timely manner. Other than that, that was TCL. Hisense phoned it in for their press conference. They basically just reskinned their H9F, called it the H9G. I think they added a few more dimming zones to it, but that's all they talked about. And then there's going to be a 75-inch version of the H9G. and those TVs are releasing in the spring. So I'm going to be eyeing the the Hisense H9G in the 75-inch variant because I'm assuming that TV will be under $2,000. So that would be pretty like intriguing. That's an intriguing TV to me. So that's Hisense. Oh, they're also coming out with the. Did they even mention their dual layer? They didn't even mention their dual layer TV as far as I could tell. I was trying to watch their press conference. I watched all 30 minutes of it and I was zoning out through most of it. It was just so boring. I'm so glad I didn't fly out to Vegas for CES because all of these press conferences were terrible and boring as sin. So I don't even know if they mentioned their dual layer LCD. If they did, I probably would have noticed it. So I'm assuming they didn't. They actually talked about their brand new laser projector that they're charging $6,000 for. So I tuned that portion of the conference out because I'm not spending $6,000 on anything. So yeah, so for me, the highlight for Hisense was the 75-inch TV. Was the 75-inch TV, and once again, they didn't mention anything about the features on the TV. They didn't talk about filmmaker mode. They didn't talk about whether or not there would be HDMI 2.1 ports. They didn't talk about the number of demi zones on the TV. They didn't. That's the thing that drives me nuts about CES. These companies are announcing TVs and products, but they don't talk about anything real. You don't find out any real information at CES. That's the other reason why I stopped going to CES, because it was driving me nuts that they would never give you any real information on anything. And that's kind of how the rest of the week is going to go. You're going to see all these videos about people on the floor, and they're going to be interviewing people at the booth, and they're going to go, oh, we don't know yet. We can't really comment on how many nits something's going to be. We can't comment on what the HDMI port situation is going to be or any of that kind of stuff. You're not going to get in there. Definitely not going to mention price. So I don't understand the point of CES, really, if they're not going to really tell you any real information. So the Hisense was really lackluster. LG, lackluster. They talked about a couple of their concept TVs that no one's going to be able to afford, or most normal people, especially people watching this video, won't be able to afford. So they talk about their roll-up TV and their roll-down TV. They mention filmmaker mode, but again, no demos of filmmaker mode. They have a new naming convention for the TVs. They're using Roman numerals. That's big. That's a change. Instead of talking about the C9, calling, the C10 and keeping with their normal naming convention, it's like the C10. So the C10, CS. See what they did? And they also got rid of the E model, the E series, in favor of the G series. Why that was done, who knows? That seems like change for change's sake. And there's nothing else to talk about because they had the BX or the B10, the C10, the G10, and they didn't talk about anything else related to those TVs. There is going to be a brand new processing chip for the A9 that they're calling the A9 Gen 3 chip. And for me, if that TV comes out and is reasonably priced, like I'm saying, $2,200 for a 65-inch version, I will buy that instead of buying the C9. But we all know the pricing is going to be exactly the same as last year. So I don't understand why we all expect that just because Vizio is doing the OLED TV, that suddenly LG is going to come out with a cheap OLED. They're not. It's going to be the exact same price as it was last year. So it's going to debut with the 55 in been $2,200 or something ridiculous like that for a 52. It's going to be $2,000 for a 55-inch TV, OLED C10, CS, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be $2,900 or $3,000 or $3,200 for the 65-inch version. And you're going to have to wait until Christmas for that to drop down to reasonable prices. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous. Their TV should not be that expensive. I've pretty much soured on OLED. I'm telling you, I do have a little burn-in on my TV. They're coming out the fixture panel. I'll talk about that in another video. But I'm completely soured on OLED. I love the tech, but I think the pricing and everything else is ridiculous on OLEDs right now. So LG was really disappointing. They did nothing to push the envelope. But at least for them, we know that their TVs are going to have HDMI 2.1. G-Sync and all that kind of stuff. We know their TV is going to have those features because they're already in the C9. So there's no reason why it wouldn't be in the C10. So we already know their situation. Sony, effing Sony, could they not try any harder? Sony's TV lineup is disgusting. Their TVs are basically this year's models, but they just added an H. They just changed they literally just changed the lettering. It's the same as that TV. It's like the 900F is now the 900G. The 950G or something is now the 950H. And they all had the same processing chip. They didn't even give us the benefit of coming out with the BS quote-unquote brand new processor, like the S1 Extreme 2 processor. No, we're still getting the S1 Ultimate processor in these TVs, and those chips are like 2 or 3 years old now, and Sony has the unmitigated gall to still include those chips in their brand new 2020 models. Are you kidding me? Are you just kidding me, Sony? And they didn't mention anything else about their TVs. They didn't talk about the ports. They didn't talk about any additional features. Oh, they talked about the new finagled sound system and stereo system that all their TVs are going to have now. Their acoustic stereo that's going to be in the 950 and their OLED models and stuff. They talked about that, but they didn't talk, and that thing is going to justify them charging $3,000 for their TVs. Everyone keeps talking about the fact that OLED TVs need to be cheaper. What about effing LCD TVs, people? I mean, LCD TVs are outrageously expensive for the type of tech it is. I mean, are you kidding me? You're talking about technology that's been around for 20 or 30 years, and Sony and Samsung had the gall to be charging $2,500 for those sets, $2,500 and up for those sets. Whereas, at least with OLED, you could justify it by saying it's brand new tech, it's giving you perfect blacks, it's doing something distinctly different than LCD. So yeah, for a while you could justify OLED's outrageous pricing, but it's now time for OLED pricing to come down. But you cannot tell me there's anything in Sony and Samsung TVs that justify them continuing to charge over $2,000 for an LCD TV. I'm sorry, there just isn't any justification for that, especially for Sony when they're just slapping a new letter on their current model TVs. They're not changing anything in these TVs. It is disgusting what Sony is doing. I'm sorry. And these TVs going to be expensive as F when they come out. We're not going to magically... The only Sony TV you'll probably be able to afford is the 900G or 900H TV. That you'll be able to afford that, but that TV is probably going to be like $1,600 when it comes out because it's the Sony name, and you had the processor, and the processor is like 2 or 3 years old at this point. I'm sorry, that was a mini rant. I'm going to calm down. I'm going to take it back down. And Samsung was really disappointing as well because Samsung did nothing. All I want from Samsung is for them to support Dolby Vision. Why can't they just do this one thing for me? Why can't you just do this one thing for me, Samsung? And as predicted, Samsung did not even mention their 4K TVs at CES at all. They're not even in their booth. So, of course, it was all about outrageously overpriced 8K TVs that no real person can afford and their micro LED technology. So that's it. That's what we got in terms of TVs at CES yesterday. And I gotta say, it was just really disappointing because I don't know why, but I was really expecting this to be a change year for TVs where we're going to get some of this cool tech, like, double wide, double LCD panels from Hisense and all these new companies doing OLEDs, even though I would never buy an OLED from a cheap brand. I would consider it from Vizio, maybe, because Vizio to me is not a cheap brand. So I would consider an OLED from Vizio, but I would not consider an OLED from companies like Conca. Who the hell is Conca? That's like a Walmart brand if I ever heard of one. So I would never buy an OLED from them unless it's like $500 or something. And I actually kind of fear OLED's been like commoditized because I don't like talking about burn-in. I don't really think it's a huge issue, even though I'm on my second panel that had burn-in, but had very mild burn-in. But I still don't think it's a huge issue. I just think I have a bad panel, and LG's coming out to fix it again. So there's that. But I think if you have all these cheap, the reason why OLED is able to maintain a high price is because it's quality component, it's quality picture. Once you put it in the hands of these cheap off brands like Conca and stuff, it's gonna ruin the whole mystique and feel for OLED, because then they're just gonna be slapping crap together. It's gonna be even worse. More people will probably have burn-in on their TVs and everything else, and it's just gonna kind of kill the. It's not gonna kill the tech, but it's gonna severely mess up the image of OLED, I think. But yeah, so that's my CES half-baked CES wrap. I don't really have much to say other than I just think it's really disappointing. And everyone keeps talking about 12-bit panels. When are those going to come? I don't understand why people are harping on 12-bit. 10-bit is enough. I don't know. And it's already reaching 97, 98% of the color spectrum. So what the hell is 12-bit going to add to anything? Just not kind of like what is 8-bit going to add to anything? What is 12-bit going to add to anything? And it takes at least 5 or 8 years for technology that debuts at CES to actually become a thing. So if 12-bit panels haven't debuted by now, 12-bit panels are never going to come. I don't want to say never, but we're not going to see a debut of a 12-bit panel for at least 4 or 5 years, because you got to have to have the entire ecosystem in place for that. And now they focus on 8K content, and there's no ecosystem in place to deliver 8K. Now people are like, "Where's the 12-bit?" The 12-bit's not going to happen. Get that out of your heads, people. And it's definitely not going to happen for at least 15 years. So even assuming a company will debut a 12-bit panel next year, it's going to be 6 or 7 years from then before you even see the first 12-bit models, and then another 8 years after that before you even see content. So that's a pipe dream. Get that out of your heads. So anyway, I was very disappointed in CES. I really wanted a lot. I don't know what I expected. It's TV technology. TV technology does not change really drastically every single year. You get a new TV technology once every couple of decades, really. So we're still working on 4K HDR. That's going to be the technology for the next 10 or 15 years. And I don't care what these companies say about 8K. 8K isn't going. Well, I don't want to go on record saying 8K isn't going to go anywhere, because as much as these companies are pushing it to high heaven, so I think 8K probably will start taking off and quote unquote taking off and replacing 4K, but it's ridiculous that they just jumped over 4K to 8K when they still haven't perfected 4K yet, and everything's still 2K DIs upscaled to 4K. Now you're going to have 2K DIs upscaled to 8K. And don't even get me started on cable still being in 1080p and 720p and everything else. And it's a mess. It's an utter depressing mess. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about CES so far. Are you in agreement? Do you think it's great? What are you looking forward to getting this year? For me, I definitely got to go back to a 75-inch TV. So OLED's out, I think. OLED's out. We'll probably get the Hisense 75-inch TV unless TCL can come out with the 75-inch TV in the springtime, in the springtime, or maybe the LG C10. But I'm going to start with, because I had the feeling only having like one more TV in me before Best Buy tries to ban me. So I had to really noodle that one through, because I don't want to get the Hisense and end up not liking it, getting stuck with it. That is why I ordered this TV on BestBuy.com, so that way they can't make me sign anything that says, I agree that this would be my last return. That's how you get around that, people. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Bye.